The wind slithered through the ruins of Novo Terra like a whisper of ghosts, carrying dust, ash, and the faint metallic scent of a world that had once believed it would conquer the stars. Skyscrapers that once scraped the heavens now leaned like old bones, twisted and broken, hollowed by cosmic storms that tore through Earth 5 years ago and left reality itself frayed along the edges. The sky was a bruised purple, streaked with silver fractures, rifts where space had been wounded. Every so often, the horizon flickered, as if the world struggled to remember its shape. Dr. Arin Hale walked among the ruins with a soldier's posture and a ghost's silence. His coat, long and worn from scavenging, lashed behind him like a tattered flag. He had once commanded star fleets, led expeditions to alien moons, shook hands with diplomats who believed in unity, progress, destiny. Now, he scavenged for power cells, clean water, and whatever scraps a broken civilization left behind, all to keep himself breathing one more day. Once humanity dreamed of future, now it survived moment to moment. He didn't speak much these days. The world didn't speak back. His boots crunched glass as he crossed what had once been an upper-level transit skybridge. 2/3 of it hung in the air, the rest collapsed into the abyss below like a fallen wing. A small piece of sky shimmered near a broken beam, as if space itself was rippling. Arin ignored it. He'd seen tears in reality before. The storms had left them everywhere, shimmering pockets of unstable physics that swallowed things whole. Once, he'd watched a man step into one and vanish. No sound, no scream, gone like dust in cosmic wind. He scanned the horizon. Silence. No drones, no hunters. The safe quiet, dangerous in its own right, because quiet always broke sooner or later. He knelt, pulling a cracked bottle from inside his coat and filling it from a rain-catch tarp stretched between rusted beams. The water shimmered faintly, radiation traces, cosmic residue. Everything was tainted now, drinkable enough for another week if filtered. He sighed, wiped grime from his face, and for a moment stared into the reflection of a man he barely recognized, hair longer than regulation ever allowed, beard rough, eyes tired but still burning with something stubborn, something human. That was when he heard it. Soft, fragile, a whisper carried by wind, not mechanical, not monstrous. Human, please. Arin straightened. His training kicked in instantly. Slow breath, steady movement, hand near the pulse blaster holstered beneath his coat. He followed the voice through fractured concrete and fallen beams, boots crunching softly so as not to cause a cascade of debris. The sound came again, clearer this time. We have nowhere to go. A child's voice. His chest tightened. Children were rare now. Most didn't survive the storms, or the famine, or the madness that followed. Those who did, many were taken by the factions hunting starseeds. Arin moved faster, weaving through bent pillars until he reached the collapsed section of skybridge. Below, where steel and concrete formed a shield-like cave, two small shapes trembled in the dusty half-light. A girl, maybe 12, thin as a shadow, long hair tangled and matted by dust. She held a boy no older than 6, who clung to her coat like it was the only thing anchoring him to the world. Their faces were smudged with dirt, eyes wide and hollow from hunger and fear. Arin froze. He couldn't scare them. Even his presence might feel like threat in a world where adults rarely meant safety. Slowly, gently, he crouched down, keeping his hands visible. "It's all right," he said, voice low, steady. "I heard you." The girl flinched back, wrapping her arms more tightly around the boy. Her voice cracked when she spoke, the kind of voice that had cried too often and learned crying didn't help. "You don't know us." "No," Arin said softly. "But I know what it means to be alone now." Her chin lifted, defiant despite fear. Brave, protecting someone smaller. A familiar pain tugged in his chest. Memory of another child. Another time before the storms, before he failed to protect the ones who mattered most. A little girl with dark eyes and a laugh like bells. His daughter, gone to the sky sickness after cosmic radiation mutated her cells. He could still feel her small hand in his. Still hear her last breath. The child before him looked like she could have been his own if fate had been kinder. He swallowed the ache, steadying himself. "What's your name?" he asked. Silence stretched. Wind whistled through metal. Finally, she whispered, "Mira." "And him?" "Leo." Arin nodded slowly. "I'm Arin." Leo peeked up at him. eyes big and strangely reflective, catching the dim light like stars caught in water. Innocent, unaware of the weight his presence carried. Mira's fingers trembled against Leo's hair. People are looking for us. Arin's jaw tightened. Of course they were. The world didn't leave children wandering unless it wanted them. And Starseed rumors. Rumors said cosmic touched children could activate alien relics, open paths to other worlds, restart technology beyond human comprehension. To governments, rebels, and warlords alike, they weren't children. They were keys. Leo shifted, his sleeve slipping slightly. Arin's breath caught. There, faint but pulsing with a soft glow under his skin, a mark like a nebula swirling. Not a myth, not a rumor, a starseed. Mira noticed his gaze and yanked Leo's sleeve down. Her fear sharpened into fury. Don't tell anyone. Don't say anything. We weren't supposed to let anyone see. Arin lifted both his hands slowly, palms outward. I won't. You say that now, Mira whispered. Everyone says that first. Then they try to take us. He saw her shaking, but she stood between him and Leo like she would take a bullet, or a pulse blade, or whatever this ravaged world hurled at her. Brave little soldier. Arin lowered himself to sit cross-legged on the rubble, making himself smaller, less threatening. I'm not here to take you. Leo's small voice trembled. Will you leave us? Arin looked at him for a long moment, and the world seemed to hold its breath. Wind stilled. Dust settled. In those star-touched eyes he saw innocence, fear, hope, and potential so vast it felt cosmic. No, Arin said quietly. If you want me to stay, I stay. The girl studied him with eyes far older than her years. She wanted to believe him. She didn't know if she should. We have nowhere to go, she whispered again, voice tiny, breaking like cracked glass. Arin leaned forward, his voice steady and sure, stronger than he felt inside. You do now. For the first time in months, maybe years, a fragile hope stirred in the ruins. The girl's shoulders sagged just a little, relief fighting exhaustion. Leo pressed into her side, trusting her judgment. They didn't move to him. They didn't smile. Trust wasn't born in an instant. But they didn't run. That was enough. Arin stood slowly and extended a hand toward them, not a command, not a demand. An invitation. Come on, he murmured. Let's get you somewhere safe. Mira hesitated. The world outside waited like a predator. But she reached up, fingers trembling, and placed her small hand in his. The old metro station groaned with the weight of forgotten centuries, steel ribs creaking like wounded beasts slumbering in the dark. Once, trains had roared through here carrying workers, families, dreamers. Now only echoes moved through the tunnels, chased by dust and the faint hum of scavenged machinery. It smelled of metal, earth, and a faint ozone tang, residue from cosmic radiation that had seeped into everything after the Great Storm. Arin guided the children down the rusted stairs, one careful step at a time. Leo clung to his sleeve like a lifeline, while Mira kept a protective arm around her brother, eyes sharp, tracking shadows. Their shoes scraped against concrete chipped by time and war. The dim emergency lanterns glowed weakly, powered by solar cells Arin had salvaged months ago. He had built this place slowly, quietly, piece by piece, a refuge carved out of the bones of a dead city. You live down here? Mira asked, voice small but steady. For now, Arin answered. Safer than being topside, less sky tear exposure. She didn't understand it fully, but she nodded anyway. It was enough. Near a column, a faded poster curled, half burned. A smiling family beneath the words a new dawn awaits among the stars. Arin's gaze lingered. He remembered when humanity had believed that. He motioned them to a corner where crates were stacked neatly. Tools hung on hooks, blankets arranged on old train seats. He'd tried to make it feel less like a shelter and more like a place someone once cared about. Didn't always succeed, but the effort mattered. Mira settled Leo on a cushion made from bundled jackets. She tucked his hair behind his ear and whispered something. He leaned into her, exhausted beyond the years he should have carried. Arin reached for a battered kettle and poured filtered rainwater into a heating coil. The water sizzled softly, steam rising. Mira watched every movement, not trusting yet, but also desperately wanting to. Hungry? Arin asked. Leo's stomach growled loudly enough to answer for him. Mira flushed, as if ashamed of need. Arin set ration bars on a crate and slid them toward the children. Eat. Mira hesitated. Suspicion flickered across her face, a survival instinct honed by too many lies, too many threats. Leo reached for a bar, but she gently stopped him. Wait. Arin didn't rush her. Trust had to bloom slow or it died. He broke off a piece of a bar, chewed, swallowed. Not poisoned. Just tastes like someone compressed cardboard and sadness. Leo giggled despite himself, and Mira's shoulders relaxed enough to let the moment breathe. She handed Leo one and took one for herself, biting as though each chew tasted like risk. Arin turned away to give them space, but not so far he stopped watching. It wasn't until Leo dozed off with crumbs on his lips that Mira finally spoke again. Why are you helping us? Arin thought about answering with something simple, because it's the right thing, or, because you needed help. Those were true, but truth alone wasn't always trust. When the storms came, he said slowly, voice low, I had a daughter. Mira's eyes widened a little. She didn't interrupt, didn't breathe loud. She was 8, smart, brave, liked to draw stars on the walls. His breath caught at the memory, joy and grief threaded into one tight knot. She got sick. We couldn't stop it. Radiation changed her cells. Doctors called her unstable matter. But she was just my kid. He swallowed hard. Mira's gaze softened, not pity, understanding. Loss recognized loss. I couldn't save her. His voice cracked for the first time in years. I will not fail another child who needs protection. Silence sat between them, heavy and real. Mira looked down at her sleeping brother, brushing dust from his cheek. For a moment she looked like a child again, not a survivor carrying too much weight. Then, cautiously, we weren't born like this. Arin turned. Mira lowered her hood, as if revealing truth cost her something. We were normal. Before the sky burned. Arin sat beside her, not too close. Enough to be present. When the storm happened, she continued, we were home. It was loud, bright, everything shook. Leo was screaming. I grabbed him and, when it stopped, we had these. She lifted Leo's sleeve gently, showing the faint nebula-shaped glow beneath his skin. It pulsed softly, a star's heartbeat trapped in flesh. I got one too, she whispered. Not as bright, but they saw it, and then, fear ripped across her face like lightning. Arin didn't push, but after a long pause, she continued, voice trembling. People came, not soldiers at first, scientists, doctors. They said we were chosen, that we could help save humanity. But they treated us like lab animals. We ran, they chased. Different groups started looking for us. Everyone wants us. Her voice broke. I don't want to save the world. I just want him safe. Arin nodded slowly, absorbing every word. The rumors had been true. Starseeds existed, children touched by cosmic transformation. And humanity, in its panic, treated miracles like weapons. Your marks, he said quietly. They're not a curse. Everyone else thinks they are, she replied bitterly. Everyone else is afraid, he answered. Fear makes people cruel. Mira looked at him sharply, testing him, measuring him. And what do you think? Arin didn't hesitate. I think your brother may change the future. And I think you will make sure he survives long enough to do it. She blinked rapidly, surprised by the faith in his voice. Why would you believe that? Because I've seen what these storms left behind, he said. Chaos, death, despair, but also, possibility. The universe doesn't destroy without giving back. It breaks to rebuild. Mira wrapped her arms around herself, as if his words made her feel seen. Vulnerability was dangerous in this world, hope even more so. Our parents, her voice faltered. They died trying to protect us. We ran. We've been running since. Arin placed his hand gently on the ground between them, not touching her, but grounding the moment. You don't have to run alone now. Until someone finds us, she whispered. I won't let them, he answered. Mira studied him again, searching for deception. But what she saw was a man haunted, not by darkness, but by the light he failed to save once. You're different, she murmured. So are you, Arin replied. Her lips trembled. She didn't cry. She hadn't had permission to cry in a long time. Arin reached into a crate, pulled out a small reactor blanket, and draped it around her and Leo. It hummed softly, warming their thin bodies. Mira froze at first, then eased into the warmth like she'd forgotten what safety felt like. Lights flickered overhead, power stabilizing. Somewhere distant, an echoing bang reverberated through the tunnels. Not close yet, but coming. Danger never slept. Mira looked toward the noise, fear flaring. Arin stood slowly, pulse blaster at his side. You rest, he said quietly. I'll keep watch. Mira's voice was barely a whisper. Why do you care so much? Arin looked at the boy sleeping, then at her, this fierce, terrified girl fighting the world for someone she loved. Because once, he said, someone should have cared like that for my daughter. Mira's eyes shone. Not with tears, but with something rarer in this broken world. Trust, fragile and beginning. Leo stirred, glowing faintly in his sleep. A star in the dark. Arin stood guard at the entrance, weapon ready, shoulders squared, not because he was fearless, but because fear meant something precious was worth protecting. In the quiet underground, surrounded by ruins, grief, and cosmic mystery, something ancient and powerful awakened, not in machines, not in alien relics, but in 3 beating hearts.